we are at this pivot point in this election, right? We are right before the first of two presidential debates, and we are right after Donald Trump's criminal trial. So this is a good inflection point. Now, the problem, and you all know this because I complain about it endlessly, there's not enough good polling out there. There's not enough of the primo stuff that I like to give you. But the folks at Fox News, who, whatever you think of the Fox News product, their polling is, it's great because they have a bipartisan team that does it. And I admire their work. So take a look at Donald Trump's polling before and after the conviction. Donald Trump and Joe Biden's before and after. What do you notice there that's very significant? So Biden's up 5 points. Trump is basically exactly the same as he was. So we've been talking about whether or not there would be a consequence for Donald Trump. There was not a consequence for Donald Trump from this trial, but there was for Joe Biden. And Joe Biden's numbers are up. Why are Joe Biden's numbers up? Well, look at here. Here's the state level numbers. This is polling done for Emerson College in conjunction with thehill.com. And you see not a ton of change here, but you see that uptick for Biden, that little bit of uptick for Biden. Pennsylvania, the most important state this cycle, 43 to 45. Okay, Trump basically the same. What's the deal? You know the deal. Donald Trump's at his ceiling. Donald Trump's never going to get 53% of the election, right? He's never going there. That's not in his story. He's close to his ceiling, but it's close. It's a ceiling that's high enough for him to win. He can most certainly win. Joe Biden is underperforming his own numbers. He has not been doing as well. Here's my hot take, my medium hot take, which is having Donald Trump in the news every day for a couple of weeks and emphasizing the fact that he is a convicted felon took these marginal Biden voters, these folks who were saying they were undecided, took these folks who said, well, maybe I'll vote for RFK Jr. Maybe I'll write in Peppa Pig. Those people said, I got to do it. The election is on. And what we're seeing, and this is what we will continue to see, this debate that we're going to have next week is 3 months early. It's the earliest presidential debate ever, and it's the earliest presidential debate ever by 3 months. So what we're having is the typical squeeze on the last group of voters, but we're having it in June instead of September and October, and that's what you're seeing in these numbers.
Stirewalt breaks it down.
I did it.
What's Biden's ceiling?
Oh, 53, 50.
Oh, so you think it's that his ceiling is higher than Trump?
Way, way higher.
Okay.
Now, Biden's floor is lower than Trump's.
Right. Okay.
Trump lives in a very narrow space, right? His floor is 43, and his ceiling is 47, right. 48. Whereas for Biden, as we've seen, he could. And the last thing you always have to remember, I just should say it as a caveat every time, when you're talking about national polling, to win the presidential election, Joe Biden, it's not enough for him to win by 1 point. He has to win by 3 or 4 points in order, because remember, the swing states are less Democratic than the country as a whole. So if you're looking at national numbers, if a winning election for Biden looks like him winning by 3 or 4 points.
You concerned about the uptick for Biden? As Trump talks more?
Concerned as an American or as a Republican?
No, as a Republican. Like, I wonder, when you look at that, like, you don't want to see that. So do you think it's a moment in time? I mean, polls are trends.
This is what I think is for the truly undecided voter, which, look, I simply cannot relate. I'm as partisan as they come, and I'm dyed-in-the-wool Republican. So, but I would imagine that for a truly undecided voter, this ping pong back and forth, every little thing is going to play them back and forth. I think you're going to see the bump after a debate. I think that's going to work to Trump's favor. I think you're going to see a bump after both conventions. Both sides will get a little bump. So this is not over. Okay. It's not over.
Oh, I agree with that. I don't think that it's over. The polls have shifted in interesting ways since the dawn of this election cycle. At this point, it's kind of frustrating. I do think that the American public is still looking for that bang moment. For Joe Biden, he's got a record to run on. It's not necessarily always being translated in the strongest way. And I also think that it's reaching out to base Democrats. There are a lot of younger voters who are disengaged with this election cycle. That doesn't mean that they're voting third party. A lot of them are choosing to stay at home and not vote at all. That same thing, I think, affects black voters, which have tried and true Democratic-based voters. Right. They're not transitioning to Trump. They're not transitioning to RFK or Peppa Pig. They're transitioning to the House. And that's a scary place to be.
We don't have Peppa Pig polling. Thank you for watching, and make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.